Still Mind, The Awakening, Season 1, Episode 7, When the Struggles Took Me Back. Welcome to Still Mind, The Awakening. I'm Esther. Pull up a chair. You are not broken. You were designed. Today I want to talk to you differently. Not from something I read, not from something I researched, and not from a lesson I wrapped up neatly before I sat down at this microphone. Today I want to talk to you about something I am living right now. My grandson has gone back to school, and he is having a difficult time. And watching him struggle has stirred up something in me that I wasn't expecting. Memories, feelings, pieces of myself I thought I had already made peace with. Because sometimes you can look at someone you love and suddenly see yourself. Not because your experiences are identical. They're not. His journey belongs to him. Mine belongs to me. But sometimes pain recognizes pain. Sometimes fear recognizes fear. And sometimes watching someone you love trying to survive something takes you right back to the places where you were once trying to survive too. When I was in school, there was times when I didn't want to ask questions. Not because I didn't have questions, I had plenty of them. I didn't ask because I didn't feel safe asking. I didn't always know how to explain what I didn't understand. And sometimes I knew that the way I was trying to understand something wasn't the way other people explained to me, understood it. Have you ever been there? You needed help, but asking for it felt harder than simply sitting there confused. Maybe somebody had already made you feel like you should know. Maybe you were afraid of the look on somebody's face. Maybe someone had laughed before. Maybe you had been told you weren't paying attention. Maybe you heard, "We already went over this." And eventually you learned something. Not the lesson being taught in the classroom. You learned how to stay quiet. You learned how to nod, how to watch everybody else, how to figure out what you were supposed to be doing without letting anyone know you were lost. You learned how to keep it together, at least on the outside. And keeping it together is exhausting. I remember waiting to go home because home meant I could finally get away. I had a place under the stairs that was my spot. It may not have looked like much to anyone else, but to me, it was something I could retreat. Somewhere I could breathe. Somewhere the world wasn't demanding something from me every minute. And I read and read and read and read. Books became an escape for me. Inside a book, things made sense. Characters had reasons for what they did. Stories had beginnings and endings. If I didn't understand something, I could go back and read it again. The book didn't become impatient with me. The book didn't look at me strangely. The book didn't ask why I couldn't just understand what everybody else seemed to understand. So I disappeared into stories. At the time, I didn't have language for any of this. I was simply trying to find a place where I could exist without constantly trying to figure out how I was supposed to exist. And now, all these years later, I'm watching my grandson navigate his own world. And sometimes, some things happen, and I remember. I remember what it felt like to walk into a place where everybody else seemed to know the rules. I remember trying to figure out people, I remembered holding things inside. I remembered waiting to get somewhere I could finally take the mask off. And here is something I want parents, grandparents, teachers, caregivers, and anyone who loves someone who experiences the world differently to hear. A child can look fine and not be fine. A teenager can make it through an entire school day and come home completely depleted. An adult can smile through a meeting, answer every question, finish the assignment, hold a conversation, and then collapse when they get somewhere safe. Sometimes what looks like doing fine is actually someone using every ounce of energy they have to keep from falling apart. And I know because I lived it. So now when I see my grandson struggling, I don't just ask, "What's wrong?" I try to ask a different question. What is this costing you? What is it costing him to get through that school day? What is it costing him to process everything? What is it costing him to communicate? What is it costing him to hold himself together? And maybe that is a question some of us need to start asking the people we love. Not simply, "Why are you acting this way?" but, "What happened before I saw this behavior? What are you carrying? What overwhelmed you? What didn't feel safe? What do you need from me right now?" That is a very different way of loving somebody. And I'm still learning it. I want to make that clear because I don't want this podcast to become a place where I sit behind a microphone and pretend I have mastered something that I am still living. I haven't. We live in a 3-generational neurodivergent household. My daughter, my grandson, and me. And yes, there's love in our home, a lot of love. There's understanding, there's laughter, there's support. There are moments when one of us understands something about another person that someone outside our home might completely miss. But let me tell you something else. It can be hard. There are misunderstandings. There are different needs, different communication styles, different sensitivities, different ways of processing, different ways of needing space, different ways of needing connection. Sometimes one person needs quiet when someone else needs answers. Sometimes one person needs time to process while another person wants to solve the problem right now. Sometimes we're tired. Sometimes patience is shorter than we'd like it to be. Sometimes we get it wrong. Love doesn't mean there are no difficult moments. Love means we keep learning each other through the difficult moments. That's different. And maybe somebody listening today needs to hear that, because perhaps you've been looking at your family thinking, "Why can't we get this right?" Maybe getting it right doesn't mean never struggling. Maybe getting it right means building a home where struggling doesn't cost you belonging. Let me say that again. A home where struggling does not cost you belonging. You can have a hard day here. You can misunderstand something here. You can need space here. You can get overwhelmed here. You can make a mistake here. You can say, "I don't know how to explain what I'm feeling," and you are still part of us. You're still loved. You're still seen. You still belong. That's what Still Mine became for me. It's bigger than simply talking about neurodivergence. It's about the places where people learned they had to hide pieces of themselves in order to belong. Maybe that happened to you in school. Maybe it happened in your family, at church, at work, in a relationship, in a community. Somewhere along the way you learned, don't ask that question. Don't say what you're really thinking. Don't let them see you struggle. Don't be too much. Don't be too quiet. Don't be too sensitive. Don't need so much. Don't make anybody uncomfortable. So you learn to keep it together. But keeping it together and being whole are not the same thing. That's part of my awakening. I spent years believing that if I could just adjust myself enough, work hard enough, understand everybody else well enough, then eventually I would fit. What I understand now is that belonging was never supposed to require me to disappear. And it shouldn't require that from my grandson either, or my daughter, or you. That doesn't mean we don't grow. It doesn't mean we never change. It doesn't mean everything we do should be accepted without accountability. It means growth should not require the destruction of identity. There is a difference between helping someone grow and teaching someone to erase themselves. And I think a lot of us are still discovering that difference. When I look at my grandson, I wish I could have protected him from every moment of misunderstanding. I can't. I wish I could make every teacher understand him. I can't. I wish I could make every student around him kind. I can't. I wish I could remove every moment when he feels different. I can't do that either. But there is something I can do. I can make sure when he comes home, he doesn't have to earn his belonging. I can listen. I can pay attention. I can learn. I can advocate. I can apologize when I get it wrong. I can remind him that a difficult day does not mean there's something wrong with him. And sometimes I can simply give him room to breathe. Maybe that is what someone did not give you. Maybe you were the child who came home exhausted and somebody called you lazy. Maybe you were overwhelmed and somebody called you difficult. Maybe you needed quiet and somebody called you antisocial. Maybe you couldn't explain what you were feeling, and because you didn't have the words, people decided what you were feeling for you. If that was you, I want you to know something today. The fact that people did not understand what was happening inside you doesn't mean nothing was happening. Your experiences were real, even when you didn't have language for it. That is something I wish younger Esther could have heard. I wish I could sit beside that little girl under the stairs with her book and say, "You don't have to explain yourself to me. I know you're tired. I know you're trying. You're not failing because this world feels hard to understand. And one day, what feels like confusion right now is going to become compassion for somebody else. Because that's what has happened. What I went through has helped me see my family differently. My daughter's journey helped me see things differently. My grandson's journey keeps teaching me, not because I want their struggles, I don't, but because we're learning to recognize one another. And maybe that's what family can become at its best. Not a group of people pretending everything is fine, but a place where we become safe enough to tell the truth. I don't understand. I'm overwhelmed. I need a minute. That hurt me. I need some help. I don't know what I need you. Can your home hold those sentences? Can your friendships hold them? Can your church hold them? Can your workplace hold them? Can you hold them for yourself? That is the deeper work of belonging. And it's exactly where Still Mine is going. Season 1 has been about awakening, recognizing the pieces of ourselves that's got buried, the parts we hid, the stories we misunderstood, the places where we thought we were broken. But something is changing. The table is getting bigger because I don't want season 2 to only be me telling you what other people experience. I want you to hear their voices. And one of the first people who's going to pull up a chair beside me is my daughter. We're going to have a conversation about what it is really like living in a 3-generational neurodivergent household. Not a polished version, not a perfect family version, the real version. What she sees that I don't see, what I've misunderstood, what she's learned about me, what I've learned about her, what it's like raising a neurodivergent child while understanding more about your own mind, and living with a mother who is discovering herself later in life too. 3 generations, 3 perspectives, 1 household. And I have a feeling that conversation is going to teach me some things. Maybe it'll teach you something too. Because season 2 isn't about bringing experts to the table just so they can tell us who we are. There may be experts. There will be people with knowledge, but there will also be people with lived experiences. People who have cried behind closed doors, people who have masked, people who have parented, people who have questioned, people who have lost themselves, people who have found themselves again, people whose voices matters. Your voice matters too. So before we finish today, I want to ask you something deeper than our usual question. Where did you go when the world became too much? I went under the stairs. I picked up a book. That was my refuge. Where was yours? Your bedroom? Your car? The bathroom at work? Music through your headphones? A walk outside? A church pew? A notebook? Maybe there wasn't anywhere. Tell me. And there's another question I want you to think about. What did you need someone to understand about you that nobody seemed to understand? You don't have to write your whole life story, maybe just one sentence. I wish somebody had known. Finish that sentence, because somebody reading your comment may finally realize they weren't the only one. That's how movements begin. Not when one person has all the answers, but when people stop hiding long enough to recognize each other. That's still mine. And before I leave you today, I want to speak to the person who is still keeping it together. The one who goes to work, goes to school, takes care of the family, answers the phone, shows up, smiles, gets through it, and then goes somewhere private and collapses. I see you. And more importantly, God sees you. The Creator never needed you to become somebody else before you were worthy of being known. Psalms 139, says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, not accidentally made, not poorly made, not almost right, made, known, seen. That doesn't make every day easy. Faith has never meant pretending pain isn't painful. Sometimes faith is simply having somewhere to place the weight when you cannot carry it another step. There were women in my life who taught me that long before I understood myself. And one lesson has stayed with me. Keep your hand in His hand. Sometimes that's all you can do. And sometimes that's enough to get you home. Next time, we're going to go deeper. Because what happens when you've spent most of your life hiding and suddenly realize you don't want to hide anymore? What happens when the mask that helped you survive starts keeping you from living? That's where we're going next. This is Esther Easter. Thank you for pulling up a chair with me on Still Mind. The Awakening. And remember, you are not broken. You were designed. There is room for your questions. There is room for your struggle. There is room for your voice. And there is room for you at this table. Keep awakening. Keep becoming. And never forget, you still belong. Until next time, God bless.